Now, the frequency table shows how often values occur. So, why do we use the frequency table? We use it to organize raw data, easy to understand. Yeah, and we use it to draw graphs. We could get graphs from the frequency table. Now, there are basically two outlines or layouts for the frequency table, and that's the grouped and the ungrouped data. As we said in our definition, that the frequency shows how the occurrence, yeah, how often the values occur, the occurrence of values. So, for example, we have this raw data here. We have 2, 4, 2, 6, 4, 2. Now, how often does 2 occur? It occurs 3 times, right? How often does 4 occur? It occurs 2 times. How often does 6 occur? It occurs 1 time. So this table is a better representation of the raw data we have. Now, I told you about the grouped, and I told you we have ungrouped and the grouped. What we saw before is the ungrouped. Now, this is what a grouped data looks like. So you have 150 to 154 occurring 3 times. That means the value between 150 to 154 occurred 3 times, right? 155 to 159 occurred twice, and 160 to 164 occurred once. And what you have here is what we call the class interval. So class interval, what you have here from 150 to 154 is the class interval, right? So we use this to group our data, especially when the data is quite much. Now, there are two types of tables basically, and we have the marginal table, also known as the one variable table. Now, the marginal table summarizes, take note, only one characteristics. It does not compare variables. For example, we're talking about gender here. We're only talking about the gender. We are just seeing the summation of the different genders that we have. That the male is 3, the female is 2. There is no comparing of gender with anything. There is no second variable. Now, the second type is the cross table, right? The cross table. This is also known as the two variable table, right? The cross table compares two or more variables at the same time. Remember, in the last one, we're just finding the summation of only the gender, but now we're comparing the gender with disease. So you have two characteristics here, gender and disease. So this is the difference between marginal and cross table. Marginal talks about one characteristics, meanwhile cross table talks about two characteristics.